reason we need not have the image of the Buddha? Well, to remind us, the uh, the no wakeful path actually represents the Buddha. When the Buddha image is not present, this becomes the Buddha. This is the Buddha. The no wakeful path. Very iconic.
Oh, I like that one. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this. It's really awesome. This is a one of a kind piece. Very heavy. One of my supporter actually funded that.
I've seen something similar to that, but then
Yeah.
it's like a snake. Snakes.
Oh,
That one.
I've actually never seen it. Maybe that's why in the paintings they have similar, right?
Isn't that amazing? Kind of like the Catholic world, right? When they hold the chalice. Oh, look at tea this morning. And my what's the name of the not endodontist but the
Orthodontist?
yeah, my orthodontist, he has an DMD and an MS, so he knows what he's doing. So when he said he needed surgery, I was like, I really wanted to be enlightened at that moment. Just like, no surgery. I'm getting surgery on this knee soon. They need to go in there and figure out what this meniscus deal is. So,
Then
fun
you're gonna
stuff.
meditate longer. Then you can meditate even longer.
I'm surprised I sat that long yesterday, and if you just watch how I get up from meditation, get up like a 90-year-old.
Me. You can do a brand new one.
That's what I tell them. I was like, actually, no. You don't want one knee that's normal and one knee that is, having surgery on, is because of the weight difference. They put that ball in, that metal in.
Yeah, my father had that.
Yeah, it's bad news. Because then you feel like a robot. You literally really feel like a robot.
He used to go off at the metal detector in the airport.
This morning was a very profound morning as I sat with Monte at the coffee shop, and we discussed some very, very deep subject. I don't think he was ready for it. I mean, I have all sorts of surprises when I sit with people, and from a monastic standpoint, I think Monte was just trying to enjoy his coffee until I was like, we're young monks and we need to make some systemic changes. And we spoke about LGBTQ, we spoke about, the ordination process, we spoke about ordaining women. That's a big issue. So it was like really, really, and I'm like, is your blood pressure rise yet? He's like, no, it's going down actually. And he said, maybe I should get an Apple Watch to let me know my heart rate too. I wish I recorded that interaction this morning, but it's just not natural when you start setting up, even us monks, even social media monks, the conversation just flows in the right moment, and I was like, yeah, what do you think about this? A tradition that dates back 25, 64 years ago, and a conversation now at 2021, you can only imagine.
We were just talking about that last night.
นะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะ พุทธังสรณังกายจามิธัมมังสรณังกายจามิสังฆังสรณังกายจามิดุติยามิพุทธังสรณังกายจามิดุติยามิธัมมังสรณังกายจามิดุติยามิสังฆังสรณังกายจามิตติยามิพุทธังสรณังกายจามิตติยามิธัมมังสรณังกายจามิตติยามิสังฆังสรณังกายจามิอิติปิโสภะคะวะอะระหังสัมมาสัมพุทโธวิจาจารณสัมปันโนสุขโตโลกวิทูอนุตตรโรมาสารติสัทธาเดวมนุสสานังพุทโธภะคะวะติสาธุสาธุสาธุ I couldn't help you how many times my teachers mess up on the Buddhang Saranang and then Dutiyami and then Tatiyami. Somewhere down the line, they like pause and then they like forget one. So this morning, the two of you will be with Bante Varapanyo. He's going to teach you guys furthermore into meditation, particularly in treating anxiety, addressing anxiety to mitigate it. And I will be having a joint conversation with our Cambodian folks in a private room. And whatever questions you guys may have for Bante, you guys can address it with him. Any questions you guys have. I've asked Bante to even see if it's appropriate to teach you guys a little bit of Vipassana meditation. I actually haven't had the time to observe him teach Vipassana to my own Vietnamese people, as I study the Mahasi Sayadaw tradition, same as Yut Tamil. And so, after you guys are been given instructions and guided meditations, I'm curious as to how it helps you, and how you will employ that until tomorrow at night. It is encouraged now that everyone has gotten ample and sufficient sleep that you should take these homework home with you and try it before going to bed and then in the morning, right? Usually my recommendation is before work or school and then after work and school. Meditation done before work or school or whatever activity is helps you focus. You have your intention, you have your blueprint for the day. You're better well focused, not scatterbrained, and ready to conquer the day effectively and efficiently. Likewise, at the end of the day, you want to let go, because a lot can happen in one day. Family, friends, business, emails, CNN. So it could get us all wound up. And by the time we get home and we see each other, we just want to go, wow, right? Angry cat. So meditation after work or school aims to leave things where they are, either at work or school or in the car. We drop things, simply just drop things. Drop negative acquired bad emotions, drop negative acquired emotions and bad habits, right? And then you come home and then impermanence, you become a new person. Second to second, moment to moment. The death of a moment and the birth of a moment. A birth of a thought and then the death of a thought. right? Our thoughts change. That's why so many thoughts in a day. So many thoughts in just 1 minute. Huh? What are you thinking right now? I just brought your attention back to the moment. Hello? Shakuru does that. In the middle of his talk, he would say, hello? And people were like, huh? Yeah, you're right. Yeah, got you. And I also would like to, actually, Kai, since you're really agile, can you grab the fan for me real quick? It's just me or is it a little hot here? I think you're just sensitive to the cold.
I feel okay right now.
Oh, the left one.
The left one?
Bring up the left one.
Hang on.
Oh,
Oh,
it just,
you
yeah, that little notch right there, here you go.
It's gonna fly away.
So I'm curious as to how much you guys have absorbed yesterday. I wanted to debrief. So usually, because we had so much going on yesterday, I didn't get a chance to debrief. The way how I teach and review after teaching is that I ask people, what they have learned before and after, so I can measure your progress. So I'm just curious, with the exception that they did not get ample sleep and the retention of memory. So it's okay. You gotta make the best out of it with what we have as humans and the neurology that we are blessed with. So I'm just curious if you guys want to share with me what you guys absorbed yesterday, because I went through a lot of information yesterday.
Right intention, right speech, do not lie, do not kill, alcohol, do not intoxicate yourself. We didn't talk about humility, right?
We went through the cases.
What else?
Yeah, we went through breathing stuff. There's 4 versions of 4 levels. I don't know.
4 different ways.
Protective meditation functions. 4 protective meditation functions as found in the path to purification, the Visuddhimagga. Yeah.
So there's the counting one, and in and out,
Temperature, toe.
the pose, mindful walking,
And then the patience, kindness and something else.
Patience meditation.
patience.
Like,
Was there an insightful meditation?
Yeah, introduction to it. It was in my phone anywhere. 2 phones.
Trying to
Behind the
guys
computer.
Huh?
Behind the laptop.
No, I did.
One there,
The
one there, one there.
Other 2, yeah, from here. Do we get anything out of the walking meditation from all of you?
Well, we talked about that, that we should do that one more often when we get home, because just to feel the earth. When you put the take off our shoes, I really like that. And I did, before I was trying to meditate more on the earth, because they were saying like the energy from the earth can ground you. So I think that's awesome.
My younger folks, we get anything out of walking meditation?
I'm so clumsy.
Clumsy?
Yeah, that's
What
the
do you
first
mean?
thing I noticed is I was tripping over myself like the first few steps. It was so weird. I was like, what's going on? Felt like
Okay.
my ankles are really loose at first.
I see.
I actually try to do that a lot because I found, I've been working out a lot, I found that when we walk, we're not really using all of our muscles, and I think that's why our knee gives out, because you're just like, I don't know, like you put all your pressure on, but then what I notice when I start like just pay attention on like using your thighs and stuff more, there's less pressure on your knees.
I see.
You learn that you're cling on to cleanliness of your feet.
Attachment. Attachment to
Yeah.
That's the feeling of cleanliness in the feet.
I see. I see. Maya, the walking meditation?
It was nice. It was calming. I think yesterday was the longest amount of time that I spent meditating. Like it was like most or half of the day. So I just felt very calm by the end of the day. When I was like interacting with people, I could tell I was like acting so much differently. I could like think about everything.
Did anyone's minds jump during meditation erratically, out to the point of out of control where you could not ground yourself again? Good. Oh, the one thing I failed to mention, there's so much to mention during these things, is it's easier to meditate in life when there's less drama. No one exempts drama. And drama means people. Anytime when you're around people, it's problems in business, in school, family. So, you know, when we try to cut back as much as possible, I mean, at the time you coming to me, it may be nice quiet life, or maybe the total opposite. But when we look at the details of our life and we start cutting back and giving us space and room to focus on ourselves, you know, to wrap up those whatever unfinished business is, yeah, life becomes a little more peaceful. You can focus on mind and body. Meditation aims for the mind, and as you have less influences in your life, less drama, less problems, you can also focus on your body, also listening to your body scans, and not pushing yourself so hard. So that's good. That's good. Anything that you guys have also learned in the meditation side that they did not address?
The temperature of breathing. I didn't know that there were like different methods to use. I thought it was just all breathing. So, and there was like I guess like different levels. There were like 4 different ones, and I kind of felt like each one was like harder to do.
For me, the favorite part was when we were at the park and the woman was having an argument on next to us, and then the music cut on. That had to be. I almost lost my focus just because it was funny. Like I was so funny. I started laughing. Like in my head, I was like crying laughing. It was so funny. So it was like also was I felt related to like compassion and just how like compassion sometimes comes up as humor.
I had instant compassion in those moments because we all were once there, to the point where we have lost our socks outside, right? Yeah, that's what Americans call it. You have lost your socks. XYZ, pound, star, exclamation point, right? Lost it. And so we take instances like that to learn, to number one, see ourselves when we do it, or if we've done it before, and to remind ourselves what a fool we look like when we actually do it, and particularly in public. Nonetheless, in public, with the presence of 2 monks. It's like, okay, so we're not Buddhists, right? We're not Arahants. I don't know if he's an Arahant or not. So, I mean, it's just like, when I see monks, I just equate them to like Arahants and Buddhists, just because out of respect, I'll give them the benefit of that so that I don't offend in any way. That's why the people bow to the monks. Sometimes, and then we bow to senior monks that we don't even know. Just because you never know who's an Arahant. Literally, you don't know who is a fully enlightened being. My teacher and I sat in the car together, and my teacher says, if let's say he told me, listen, if Chidao, you were an Arahant, and I asked you to just move the air vent a little bit, that would be a minor offense. It would have been an offense. I don't think he said minor. And he says that's offensive, and he says that constitutes 500 additional rebirths. He's more well-rounded in the rules for monks. I am not well-rounded in the rules for monks in regards to offenses to an Arahant. But there's stuff like that gives us wise fear that, okay, all right. So anyways, nonetheless in the presence of monks, you know, or pastors or priests or rabbis or archbishops or cardinals. You know, I don't give up. I don't give it. I don't give up. You know. So it was a teaching moment, absolutely, for all of us. This is why we see, may you see the light of your own true nature. May you be healed and be a source of healing for others, is my blessing that I give at the end of sessions, right? Be a source of healing for others. And we lead by examples. And so down the line, you're gonna meet your friends, your family, who have anger, just like that. We're humans. As long as we're in this skin, we are subject to anger. And so, you know, we help guide them with this philosophy, so that you can see the less angry world we have, the more harmony, more harmonious world we live in. We have less instances like that, more places to meditate without the F word being thrown around. But it just shows you just the magnitude, and elsewhere too, you know. And you, take yourself, you are the billboard and poster, you are the advertisement. Wherever you go and you sit and you meditate, people who walk by you, they're gonna be like, whoa. I'm not sure if you guys ever seen anyone sit and meditate on the beach or something like that, where their back is facing you and they're just towards the sun or towards the water. It's a very profound image. It just, wow. It makes people just reflect. And, you know, so as students and meditators, you know, I encourage you guys, you know, after you study and you go out, you know, put yourself in these places. Sometimes they are conducive to meditation. Sometimes they're not ideal conditions for meditation. But one must ask oneself, you know, what do I learn? What am I learning here? There are kids running around screaming, you know, people are arguing and stuff like that. It helps you see the first noble truth. And then it helps you see the fourth noble truth. The cessation, the path to liberation. So, so that was actually a good thing yesterday that happened. Right? Had it just been all well and dandy, it wouldn't be memorable. You know? This is the true nature of life. So, do we have any questions from yesterday's overviews, reviews? You'll see these again. I know that I went over them quite fairly quickly. I have a short amount of time to compress the teachings for you all. And we will review it on Monday again. We're just learning. Today I'm doing one-on-ones with them, and today you guys will go a little bit more in depth into meditation and guidance and instructions. Right? So typically when monks give guided instructions in meditation, we have these fans in front of us, right? It's usually it covers our face when we're being given the instructions. Likewise, as if I was in college, you know, certain professors, you know, sometimes they look a little grumpy, sometimes they look a little unhappy. I had one that just had a divorce in college. So sometimes, when you're being given instructions and stuff like that, sometimes you have to separate the message from the messenger. And that's what that fan is. That fan covers the monk's face, hides his personality, hides his face. Because what is important is the instructions and the information that's being passed on to you orally. You know, so you guys try to hone in on the instructions, try to remember them as much as possible as if it's gold, wisdom of gold, gems of Buddhism. It will serve you well. I got this far in life because every word that was uttered by my teachers, every word that was uttered by my professors were like gold coming out of their mouth. And I realized if I wanted to be the best at life, at meditating, at my profession, job, student, son, that I would really now hone in deep listening skills to any monk, any teachers, any professors that obviously is more advanced, have training and education. You know, when we walk in here, when we walk through past that door, The right attitude is, I don't know anything, like I did. After seeing the first noble truth myself at age 23, I realized, oh crap, I don't know it all. And I'm not as smart as I think I am. And once we lower that ego down, that we don't know anything, that's where learning begins. And so I stepped into college with no idea, no clue what's happening. And I let the professors just take lead. And so it does wonder, starting as a blank format, a blank computer waiting to be downloaded in the most sophisticated software, the dumb one, most sophisticated and effective software the world has ever seen. So so I'll let Bande do that, and then when I'm done with the one-on-one sessions, I think I'm gonna gauge the timing right to travel to Clearwater and be on the boat, dolphin sightseeing, the sunset. But I also want to give a talk on the non-self, which is the me, the mind, the I, the ego, practicing egolessness. All of us have ego, including myself. And anger arises as a direct result of the ego proliferating. See, she yelled and screamed yesterday because somebody hit that ego button. And it's just like, who exactly do you think you really are talking to me like that? See, when I break it down like that, you guys are like, oh. You know what I mean? So, so this is why when I tell people, I'm like, I'm just a visitor, just a human, just a homeless beggar. That's what we are, we're just homeless beggars. We humble ourselves, right? And this is how we affect change in the world, so that you walk the earth humbly, with deep understanding and compassion. With deep understanding, you see the suffering in others, you respond differently. When you lower your ego, people are like, I can talk to her. I don't see a wall within her. You become this person that walks in a room and you light up like a Christmas tree, versus walking in and it's like a funeral home. Right? We've all felt that, right? Certain people bring in certain energies and stuff like that. So the practice of the non-self is one of the hardest for any of us humans, because we have pride, we have expectations, where we've been, what we've gone through, what we have accumulated over time, experience, education, pain, headache, heartaches, and now someone's going to try us in this moment at age 40. I'm a mother. Who do you think you were talking to, right? I'm a grandmother. Who do you think you're talking to, right? So Bante will now guide both of you, and I'm going to take these two into Christina's room, and we should come back in about an hour or so. I don't see it going past an hour, but if so, just practice. Any questions after all of this is? So if you guys want, you guys can come a little closer in this area right here. So they don't have to look all the way to the left here. Daniel and Sahari, if you want to exit this left and then just make an immediate left, lights on in there for you guys. There's two chairs on the left. Okay, it's all yours. My mom said she bought that like 20 years ago.
Oh, really? 20
Yeah.
year old?
20 years ago.
close the door and turn off the fan. You're both pretty skinny, so it shouldn't be too hot, right?
Yeah.
A little bit of heat is okay, not a big problem. So with our meditation practice, first is the body. Okay? So how about your body at this moment? How does your body feel right now? Kai?
My body,
Yeah.
so clammy. It feels clammy. My
So we
hands
get the
feel
heat, we'll get the heat going, get you warmed up. And you, how do you feel? Your body feeling?
I feel tingly on the inside. I don't know.
Okay, that's great. Can you move this here a little bit over? So, no, not that. This right here, yeah. Just so I'm simply in the center. Because our friend is, yeah, just to turn it. No, you just can turn the whole thing. Yeah.
Okay. There? Yeah, okay.
Does it look all right?
Mm-hmm. You're in the center now.
Okay. So when we sitting meditation, we want to sit like a superhero. Okay. So we want to sit in a stable position. All right. There are a few ways to sit, but usually we want the knees to be low. Okay. And maybe don't sit on your other foot. I'll do a little bit of a clinic here, okay? So for our meditation, you can put your legs out like this, all right? Stretch them all the way out. Okay, you can feel it stretching. You can feel if you pull your feet up, right? Pull your feet back to you. You feel the tendons, right? You feel those ligaments and things, right? So when you feel those ligaments, you can kind of sense into the unsatisfactoriness of the body. Okay, it's not a TikTok, it's not a YouTube video, it's tendons and muscles and the flesh. This body is not very satisfactory. It's not so ideal, actually. And because we are young, especially you two, you're very young, you feel just like a sweet baby, right? You know, and the body very strong and powerful. But as you're getting older, or you're getting sicker, or anything that happened to you, the body just become like a sack of flesh. We have to accept that. Okay, so there's this unsatisfactoriness in stretching. And even stretching makes you feel good, right? But the stretching itself is an unsatisfactory feeling, right? You're not having pleasure go through your body that's not a pleasurable feeling. Horrible, right? Horrible feeling. Like a ripping, pulling, right? So the body's just like that. So in a meditation position, we can pull one foot close to our groin area all the way. Okay? All right, yeah, so now we're kind of in this position, and then we can take our other foot and we actually first try to bend it, okay? Bend it as much as you can. And then you pulling this foot, pull it all the way up. Okay, put it on your thigh here. And then taking this other foot, let it come out. Don't sit on that foot. That's right. Okay, so that's good. That's good. And people online, I don't see you or know what you're doing, but let's assume you're doing good. All right, so now you can see your knees are lower, okay? Your knees are lower, but you're missing an important part, so don't just stay where you are, but I'm gonna get into my position here. Same thing, but under the robe. So Now it's your pelvis that we're thinking about. This is why we use a cushion, okay? Most of the time when we sit on the floor, we sit like this. The pelvis is back, okay? We're sitting like this. This is not how a superhero is sitting, right? Or a superheroine. And meditation actually is superheroine, if you do it right. So we want the pelvis to be forward. You see that? That's that's this right here, your pelvis, right? So try it. Try to move that way. Yeah. You can try.
Is it on that?
No, it's fine. It's, yeah. You know what I'm talking about. Okay.
It feels like the muscles back here should like stretch out a little bit.
Well, they'll stretch out, but the thing that this is what we're using the cushion for, so that we can find a natural forwardness of the pelvis with a cushion. And that's not perfect, but that's better. That's much better, and that's the idea. Okay.
I know.
Sorry, that.
It take a
The
long
way you said that was. Okay, I'm sorry.
It'd take a long time to find a good position. And even now, I've been attending meditation retreats and these kinds of things for almost 10 years, sitting intensively. And still, sometimes it's difficult for me to find the right position, to find a good position, okay? And that's also fine. But we want the knees to be stable, okay? We want the pelvis to be forward. And we want our shoulders to be back, just like we have big, strong lumberjack, okay? And then we can check in with our body, look at our body with our mind's eye, and see if there's any place that is uncomfortable or any place that is insecure. So maybe we're using our back muscles too much to hold ourselves up, and so for that we kind of can lean to the left, lean to the right, and just find that balance point, that comfortable balance point to be sitting in. Okay, at that time, the body's kind of stable, all right, and there's not an emergency going on with the body. So when you are aware of that, now you can put the body down. So you're not holding the body up, you're not doing anything with the body, you're not using the body for any purpose. Okay? The body just sitting here. The body just sitting here, and you are breathing. You're not waiting for anything to happen. You're not going anywhere, nothing to achieve, nothing to really do at this moment. And whatever tension or movement, whatever you notice in the body, a tightness or a burning or any kind of feeling in the body, you just to notice it, to be aware of it, and breathing. And so your primary activity here is, having already put the body down, you're just breathing. That's your primary activity. can close our eyes, or we can look at about a 45-degree angle, looking down in front of us. So you're hearing sounds, and you notice feelings in the body, experiences in the body. There might be some thoughts floating around. You notice all that, and then return to your primary activity, the main thing that you're doing, which is breathing. And as you are breathing in this way, anything that gets knotted up, anything that gets tangled or tight or worked up, thought, a feeling, through your primary activity of breathing, you just to relax that tangled up, just to calm and simple, whatever tangled up, whatever tight, whatever pleasurable or unpleasurable or neutral experience you're having, you just to let it relax and release with your practice of breathing, staying with that primary activity. Our monkey mind, our animal mind, is practicing meditation for the sake of good and bad, right? Bad meditation is unpleasant, painful experience. Good meditation is pleasurable in the clouds, special experience. So at this moment, we are to give up good and bad. This is just another knot at this time, another tangle. So at this moment, we feel pleasurable, we feel unpleasurable, or feel a neutral experience. And then we to restart, to reset, to refresh, make sure our posture is appropriate, comfortable, and returning to our primary activity, breathing. The breath flowing in and flowing out. To enjoy wholeheartedly whatever we are experiencing at this moment. Not to be shy about our depth of enjoyment. We feel a tension or a burning somewhere. Our knees start to hurt, our legs start to hurt, something And we just breathe and really enjoy it, really appreciate this awareness of the body. Not to be shy at all about the wholeheartedness, the fullness of the experience we're having right now. Staying with, returning to our breath at this moment, breathing in, breathing out. Staying with our primary activity of the breath happening. We can feel the breath deep in our belly. We may have some ideas, thoughts. We may have some experience of just like a dreaminess. Don't worry, don't concern, don't get too involved in any of that. Just to notice it, to experience it, and to return, to be with the breath coming in and going out. those sensations, thoughts, distractions, just a reminder, just an experience at this moment. Returning to the breath coming in and going out. Most of the time, our mind is mainly reacting. Experience something and then immediately reacting to it. But instead, right now, through your being as the breath, identifying with this breathing activity rather than some story about yourself, but seeing through the eyes of breathing, noticing the sensations in your body. Looking closely at those sensations. Without any judgment, without reacting, just looking very closely at those sensations of your body. Through the eyes of breathing, see no sensation. See just seeing. Just breathing. Just being aware at this moment. Allow any goals or expectations to melt away. Relax and to calm. Just to breathe, just to be aware. And even though we know about the difficulties in our lives, the confusions, right now to really feel that peace, that acceptance, that safety, that is not foreign, is not something we need to get from somewhere else, But just at this moment, regardless, no matter what we are experiencing, that peace is overflowing. Couldn't be more accessible. Couldn't be more present. As we stay with our breath coming in and going out, as we restart and refresh in each moment of the breath, don't worry about how you're breathing. Don't try to breathe a certain way. Don't think that there's anything wrong with how you're breathing. Just allowing the breath to happen. And to accept, to love, to be kind to whatever you're experiencing right now. In our meditation, we often find that we fall into a kind of dreamy state, dreamy experience. At that moment of awareness, of clarity, we return to the breath, restart, refresh. Breathing and being aware of the body. And not just the body, but the completeness of the body sitting here at this moment. With our awareness, we can start to use our presence of mind to look at the head area with our mind, noticing what does it feel like to have a head? What is the experience of it at this moment? Is there any tension? Maybe a headache or a feeling of emptiness? Breathing and looking at our head with our awareness. Inside and out, the skull, the brain, the skin, the eyes, the ears, the nose, the whole head area. What do we notice? And as we are looking, as we are noticing, surely we will feel other places in the body, we will notice other things. But just to continue looking at the head area, and whatever we feel, whatever we experience or notice in the head area, just to accept it, to relax and open whatever we feel, whatever we notice. Breathing in, fully aware of the head at this moment, inside and out. Breathing out, relaxing, accepting, releasing this head area. As we move down into our neck, throat, top of our spine, what do we notice there? Breathing in, fully aware of the muscle, bone, tissue, throat, in our neck area. And breathing out, allowing our awareness to release and relax, to flow down into our shoulders. Muscle, the bone, from our shoulders down into our upper arms, our armpits, the biceps, the triceps, the bone in the upper arm. All the way down from our shoulders to our elbows. Noticing, looking without judgment or expectation. From our elbows down into our forearms, all the way down to our wrists, and into the hands. Each finger, each bone. Try to feel the very tips of your fingers. What's that like to be aware from the inside, from experience, tips of your fingers and your hands. Breathing in deeply, fully aware from the tips of your fingers all the way up to your shoulders. This experience of having arms. Breathing in, being fully aware of the arms, from the hands to the forearms, the elbows, the biceps and triceps, all the way up to the shoulders. Breathing out, relaxing, releasing these arms and shoulders. Now our awareness moving on to our chest. The fat, the muscle, skin. Moving inside to the heart, the chest bones, all the way through to the shoulder blades, the spine. Really giving our warm, sincere awareness and attention to this chest area. We can give an extra layer of attention to our heart itself. And we can say with our inner voice, the inner voice of our mind as we are looking at our heart, "Hello, heart. I see you. I am thankful for you. I am grateful for you. We can say to our heart, "May you be at peace." May you be healthy. May you be free from suffering. May you be free from fear. Breathing in deeply, giving our wholehearted, loving attention to our chest area, our upper back area. Breathing out, relaxing and releasing the chest, the heart, the upper spine, the shoulder blades, the chest plate. Breathing in, we are aware, and breathing out, relax and let go this chest area. Our awareness flowing down the spine, flowing down our back, into our stomach, our lungs, our organs, filling up our entire stomach and lower back area, spine, with our clear awareness, our clear presence. Noticing what it's like to have a stomach, a spine, lungs at this moment. Breathing in deeply to our belly, deeply into our lungs, feeling them fill up. Being fully aware of the entire upper body. Filling up our entire upper body, the stomach, the chest, the arms, the shoulders, all the way up to the head. Filling up the upper body with our awareness.
You're doing great, just keep going. Just grabbing my water.
And as we breathe out, allowing all of that awareness to flow down into our pelvis, into our butt, our groin area, our thighs and our knees, our calves, shin bones, ankles, feet. Allowing all of that upper body awareness to flow down and to fill up our lower body with awareness. Our butt can be a point of gravity when we're sitting like this, so giving a lot of loving attention to that point of gravity, that point where we feel our body meet the earth. And whatever we notice in our lower body, the butt, the groin, the pelvis, thighs, all the way to the knees, the calves, the shins, the ankles, and the feet. Just for a moment to see, without any judgment, this experience of the lower body. Breathing in deep, feeling the point of our breath in the lungs, stomach. Breathing in more awareness to fill up not just our lower body, but also the stomach, the chest, the shoulders and the arms, the hands, the neck, all the way up to the head. Allowing this practice of just breathing to fill our whole body with seeing with presence. The whole body sitting here at this moment. Breathing and being aware of the whole body without any judgment, without any confusion, without any self-negativity. Just breathing and being aware. Just this. At this time, we can bring our hands together and we can rub our hands together. And then massaging our face. At this time, we can start to stretch and give ourselves a bit of self-massage. Okay, any questions?
It's kind of crazy.
You want to share about your experience, your meditation experience?
I didn't go to sleep, but I felt like I left and then I came back when I opened my eyes. I wasn't asleep though. I didn't go to sleep.
Want to be very careful about any kind of drowsy state or sleepy state. We often think that that's kind of what we want to experience in meditation, but there should be a lot of brightness in our practice. We want to emphasize that brightness. So even though a kind of drowsy, sleepy state can be very nice, we don't want to focus on that too much, or to see that as our goal of meditation. Could you hand this over to me, this one here, and maybe some people over there asking a question, or yeah, you can unplug it. Thank you so much. Yeah, a few people here. Any questions on the live stream here? Okay, Alice, I'm happy you were able to join for that. Hope you're doing well. Okay, great.
When I was focusing on my head, I felt like I could see like the light from outside a lot more. From like up there.
Seeing light.
Yeah, cause like the light from up here. Like when I was focusing on it, it was like I could focus on like the light more. How was yours?
It was nice, it was calming. Usually at some point when I'm meditating, like it's like a light, but it's like a blue flame starts to bubble up, kind of, from the darkness, I guess. And then usually I just sit, I just imagine myself sitting in front of it like a campfire, and that's just, I just stay there in that place. Sometimes I forget though, like I kept, like I would not forget what I was doing, but I would forget that I'm in this room, like I was here, so to speak. Like I would, like I know I'm here, but I would be like sitting in campfire, and then he'd be talking, and I'd be like, oh wait, yeah, I'm in this place, I forgot, and then I would come back and like turn my attention back to his voice, and then he would like finish talking, and I would go back and see if my little flame would get.
Yeah, at one point it just felt super tingly and numb, and I was like, when I was just focusing on my head, my whole body was just like numb and weird.
So someone asked, and this is a good question. A lot of people have this kind of question. How do I breathe correctly? You don't. All right? There's no correct way to breathe. And sometimes in meditation, your breathing is going to be very tight. Maybe you're stressed out or anxious or something like that. And you have to learn to accept all kinds of different circumstances and experiences as doorways to peace, doorways to waking up, rather than doorways to more and more complicated thinking and confusion. Right? That's what's important. And so the better you get at finding peace in suffering, you have a more peaceful life. Because there is suffering, and most of us, we just happen to be, we mostly suffer. We mostly have difficulty. We mostly have dissatisfaction. So in the Four Noble Truths of Buddhism, the first noble truth is there is suffering, but then the third noble truth is that there's an ending to suffering. Okay? So we're kind of moving along those truths. The first one that you're aware of is that there is suffering. But Buddhism's not really nihilistic. There's also an ending to suffering. And so it's through looking into that suffering, being aware of that suffering, that you find the root of it. But it's not intellectually. You can't do it intellectually. Because intellectually, we're very primate-esque, at least you can say. We're very animalistic in many senses. There are a lot of similarities in our brain with primate brains, right, with other animals' brains and how other animals live. And oftentimes we act like animals, just searching out food, sexual activity, sleep, right? So you're not going to think your way through it. right? Even modern technology, logic and mathematics, you don't think your way through it. You have to apply it, and it's only relevant as much as it is applicable to experience it. So people say that science is like a new religion, like an absolute truth, right? That science is absolutely true, or that math is absolutely true, or that, and so a physical example of that is that like your technology is absolutely true because it works. But it's not. It just works within certain parameters, within a certain situation. And you can't completely verify it because we're not God. You can say we're not God. We're not omnipotent in an intellectual way. So evolution is a theory. And these devices that we use in another place, at another time, in another circumstances, they're not going to work. So it doesn't matter if it works in another place, it matters if it works for us. And so we only get to that point by experience, not by thinking through it. We can convince ourselves of all kinds of different things, but it's a difference between convincing yourself that you are a professional fighter and being a professional fighter. There's a difference between convincing yourself that you're at peace and actually being at peace. So a lot of people, or some people I run into, they read certain books and they get into these ideas of, oh, I'm enlightened. They kind of convince themselves that they're very, I'm a very special person. I have a very special understanding. And so, if you meet someone like that, says, I'm enlightened, I always tell them, go and do the closet test. Okay? So if you think you're enlightened, go and sit in the closet for 1 hour. Okay? Now if you pass that test, now it's time for the 2-hour test. Now it's time for the 3-hour test. Now it's time for the 4-hour test. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, So what is that test? How do you pass that test? Well, you go into the closet and you're at peace and you're relaxed and you're happy and you're joyful. Wonderful. That's what enlightenment is. Total peace, complete ending of suffering, cessation of suffering. So in some sense, we're all a little bit enlightened. We have that peace nature. There is peace. But if you get this big idea in your head about, wow, I've really got something special, well then go sit in the closet, and then report back to me and let me know about it. So if we can find that moment of peace, just in the sound of a bell, then any experience, any moment can be a moment of awakening, a moment of calming, a moment of getting woke AF. Actually, factually woke. Based AF, actually factually based. So that's what we do in meditation. That's what we work on in our meditation practice. And all the different methods and all the different approaches are just to help you find your way of consistently approaching the sound of the bell in a way that doesn't disturb you or confuse you or make a mess. And the precepts, the morality, which is like the basics of our approach to the path, living morally, living ethically, is just to help us avoid really horrible major mistakes. And if we can avoid really horrible major mistakes in our life in general, things are going to get a lot better very quickly. But most of us, we just don't have that understanding of how helpful it is to be helpful, to be skillful, to take care, not to just consume, to only consume. Because a lot of kids, a lot of people, right, that's all that they know. That's all that they believe in is consumption. And they think if they consume in a certain way, if they consume in the right way, then they're going to be happy. But it doesn't work. But you can find peace, you can find enlightenment in any normal, ordinary, everyday experience. You get $1 million and the perfect partner and the perfect kid and the perfect dogs. No, it's not going to work. It doesn't work. You might experience a lot of pleasure, And if you have, that peace perspective, you can experience peace moment to moment, but it doesn't work. Even PewDiePie doesn't get to be PewDiePie. Bella Thorne or some of these TikTok stars, these different people, they don't get to be that person. Instagram influencers, they don't get to be that person.
I can't believe you know who that is. That's crazy.
Even if they get to that, you have levels of influencers, right? You have people who are like spending, they grew up wealthy or something and they're spending all this money to become an influencer, right? To get to a certain level. Those people at that level, even if that person gets to that level, they don't get to be that person. They just get to be a normal, ordinary human being, So a billionaire and a millionaire and a person in poverty, basically in the same situation. It's not that different. It's just that when you find yourself in those causes and conditions, you have a different experience, more pleasurable, more powerful. But that's also impermanent, So the nicest bathtub in the world just becomes a bathtub. The largest amount of money in your bank account just becomes money in the bank account. It never becomes what you want it to become because it's not permanent. You can't keep it. You can't hold it, no matter what. It's not possible for you to do that. So PewDiePie doesn't get to be PewDiePie. Celebrities don't get to be celebrities. They just know how to put on a show. And sometimes you have very pleasurable experiences, but as a celebrity, but everyone does. You have a cup of coffee, wow, I feel so enlightened. I'm so happy, I'm so joyful. But then at the next moment it goes away. Very physically attractive people, they don't get to be that person. They just spend a lot of time convincing themselves that they're that person. And it might bring them some pleasure, but they don't get to be the person they want to be. You have to be who you are right now. And that's an experience. That's not a story. That's not a belief. So a monk, the job and the benefit and why people think it's a good idea is because our responsibility is to find peace and calm and joy in nothing, in everything. To find peace in pain. And that's what we're going to experience in life. There's a story that we are just like a messenger comes to the king of a island territory. And he says, look, I just came from the east and the west, the north and the south. Let's say there's 4 messengers. And each of them tell this king that there are giant mountains, the size of Mount Everest and the length of the longest slinky you can imagine, coming towards your kingdom right now. And they're unstoppable. And that's old age and sickness and death. And it's difficulty, really. Difficulty is headed your way. So we find peace in awareness of that, not in trying to avoid that or try to get rid of that, because we can't. And the body is extremely fragile. We talk about privilege, especially the young people, right? They're I don't know where they're getting all this from, but they're believing in this stuff. There's white privilege, and then there's the privilege to have a healthy body and to be alive right now. How many people are alive right now out of all the people who have existed? Very, 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 very few. It's a privilege to be alive. And to be alive and have a healthy body, it's an uncomprehendibly privileged situation. So we need to be aware that a lot of how we enjoy living our life and maintain the way that we're living is just privilege. It's not actually on depth. It's not on maturation. It's not on an ability to deal with difficult circumstances. And so that's the job of a monk, is the ability to deal with difficult circumstances as they arise, as they come up, and to find peace in them. Because that's what we're going to experience. We're going to experience difficulty, confusion, blame, shame, right? Someone's going to come in the door and say, this man's a murderer. Take me off to prison for the rest of my life, right? Or something else horrible. That's just what's going to happen. As much as you get praise and as much as you attach to it, you're going to attach to blame. As much as you attach to pleasurable experiences, that's just forming this habit of clenching and wrapping around stimulation. And so when you have those painful experiences, you're also going to instinctively clench onto them. And so it's this clenching, this holding onto, this self-clinging that is really at the heart of our suffering. Even if you only had pleasurable experiences, you would still be suffering because each and every one's not permanent. Pleasure is all about preference. So you can't have a preference for everything, or that's not a preference. So that's the enlightened mind, no preference. Peace in every experience. Joy in every experience. And one person here is still talking about, should I breathe through the belly or the lungs? Try not breathing. It doesn't work, so just breathe. Don't think too much about it. Any other question or comment? So this tea bag here has a lesson, a Buddhist teaching on it. Let your energy be used to build, not destroy. But really, most of us are so unskillful that, we can't build anything. We can barely do anything. We can barely brush our teeth, right? So a better lesson, a better encouragement is to not make big problems for yourself, to not build big mistakes and big problems for yourself, because it's very easy for us to build those. Culturally, societally, we know how to build big problems, but we don't really know how to build big solutions. So to restrain ourselves is often the best use of our energy. Not to do the right thing or to do the best thing or to do the thing that's going to get us what we want, especially, internally, mentally, spiritually, but more to restrain ourselves from doing things that are definitely not good for us. And over time, as we learn to restrain ourselves, to use our energy to restrain ourselves from those activities, we'll be less and less inclined, we'll have less and less habit energy to just pursue that, to do that again and again and again. And so over time, we get a more balanced, natural, simple state. More healthy state. Just through restraint, not through, figuring out how do I solve this problem or how do I become the best version of myself. But just restraining that clearly not best or not most skillful version of yourself. It's not necessarily about being the best or the worst, but just a skillfulness. And you know what's skillful for you, because if you do one thing, you don't feel so good. If you do another thing, you feel quite good. So we can practice in that way. Okay, so we'll take a short break, just about 5 minutes, less than 10 minutes, and then we'll come back for mysterious enlightenment. Well, Alice, you can take a little bit of time, maybe a few days, to focus more completely on your meditation practice. Try to follow a schedule and see how that goes. It's always better to find the middle path, the middle way in approaching to take a retreat. So, for example, right now, I am, taking time off from a lot of my teaching responsibility and doing things like that online. But because another monk asked me to be here, then I can share and do some teaching. So it's the same for your, you want to focus more on your meditation practice, then you can simply do more meditation and see how that goes. But usually we don't want to reject anything. It's just to find that balance, just to find that middle position, that middle path, to not be so rigid, right? So try to do some more meditation and see how it goes. And then if you want to take even more meditation, then you can do that slowly, gradually. Don't need to be in a rush to meditate, right? Someone asks, as a Buddhist, do you feel love for everyone on earth? That's the intention. That's the aspiration for a Buddhist practice, is to feel love for everyone on earth. Yeah. Okay, so we can all kind of start to come back to our meditation positions. You can sit more over here, yeah. Yeah, you sit over here. You can move that over a little bit. Yeah, just sit over here. Yeah, just to move that, you can sit there. Yeah, that's perfect. That's great. A little bit closer, so we all close together. And maybe our friends are coming back now.
Knock, 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 knock.
Okay,
Hello.
yeah, we just
Wrapped
finished
up?
up with our first time. We're just coming back from a break now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you know I had psychic abilities?
No.
No? Well, that's why I timed it right? To come in to join you at the right time? You guys know I had psychic abilities? No, I'm just kidding. Even if we had supernatural powers, the Buddha advises do not display them in public. Very good.
Can you move this back? Just in between you two? Yeah, that's great. Perfect. Someone asked a question about, do you think everyone on earth deserves to be loved? And it doesn't matter. Okay, so when you're sitting with your body, when you're sitting with your emotions, when you're sitting with all the different aspects of yourself, it doesn't matter if it deserves to be loved, at least not from a Buddhist perspective. It's just to express compassion, to express kindness, to express forgiveness, not to get so caught up in the details. And the purpose of that is to reduce our suffering. not to fulfill some kind of particular moral goal of right and wrong, but just to reduce suffering. And so we start in the most subtle level with ourself, not to get so caught up in complicated ideas about right and wrong in the world or with other people. But how do we show acceptance towards ourself, our own body? You know, how do we find peace with ourself? And then we move on from that to have a wider perspective on being compassionate and kind and loving to people.
So, for my younger students, what did you guys learn from Bante Barapanyo during my absence?
Just like, well, that was a very long meditation. I felt incredibly intense for no reason, but it was a lot of focusing on the breath and just like one pointed concentration on breathing and allowing yourself to just literally just breathe and just be present in that alone and kind of let everything else fall away in the process.
My
experience?
what you learned?
I don't know, it was weird. That was crazy. My head felt weird. I don't know how to explain it. I got to a nice state, and I could understand the longer that you did it, and the longer that you brought your focus back. It was the back and forth of getting lost and then coming back that kind of made it what it was.
Yeah, that's what made it fun.
That's what made it fun.
Yeah.
So, you guys, for the younger crowd, you guys are learning to be a modern day Jedi of your mind, in all seriousness. It's a cool term. It's a cool way to say it.
Oh yeah, we learned how to sit right. I forgot about that.
To sit right.
It's a Pelican case, so you should be alright.
Oh yeah. Always
The
do.
iPad won't be alright here.
What? This thing's zoomed in.
Here.
Say,
you
hand
have-
him the
We
other
have.
one.
Oh.
Oh, that's great.
Thank you. Sorry, Bante. Social media monks, right?
Sorry, they don't want you to drink coffee.
Yeah, literally.
The unattractive nature of coffee. Kai, do you mind grabbing the fan again?
Yes.
What is this called? Like hot flash or something within me?
No, maybe.
It's warm now.
No?
It's funny because
Goodness, what? I used to be like, I don't like the and now I'm just, yeah. These robes are not as thick as the dark brown ones. What's going on here?
It's getting those hot flashes.
I like feeling it when it's warm.
I like the
It
cold.
feels like a hug.
I prefer the cold. It wakes you up.
Sorry. We have some alcohol wipes here. Hey guys, stand by online real quick. We have a little oopsie.
You have alcohol wipes?
Oh yeah. Question is when I don't have, right? Do I? Had. Oh, right here. Emergency. Here, first aid. Urgent care monk, first aid.
Urgent care.
I was supposed to wear a stethoscope, right? Just to make my point. Little props.
Here, look, that last one. From the other room?
Oh yeah, I gave this to Christina actually. Super on sale.
Super on sale. Where at? I look super on sale.
Asians, right? Super. Sam's Club, right? Walmart, that's us. We go buy clothing, we go in the 90% section. 90% off. Buy one, get two free. Well, shopping smart, right?
I like shopping.
we good? Do you need more?
Yeah, no, I think I'm alright.
Do you want me to take it?
Cleaned it up.
I apologize for messing your feet.
Oh, that's okay.
Okay. Oh, it's okay. I'll let these absorb for a second. Here. I got more in it. I'm just gonna let it absorb for a second.
Okay.
It's alright. Okay.
Then give me the wrappers.
Oh, yeah. It's like paramedics just
Yeah.
CPR on someone. We took the plant and made it to the stand. Yeah, we can use this one too as a, I don't, it may or may not.
Put it in between these two.
Lower.
There's a big backpack here,
Yeah, like
Kai.
that. That's
There you
good.
go.
Is good?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna make more boobies here. Boo-boos. All right. So I'm very proud of you guys in sitting with the silence and learning about yourself. You know, meditation is difficult. Again, we're doing something that the mind does not want to do. Does not want to do. What does the mind want to do? The mind wants fun, not what is not fun. Always looking forward to the next great big thing. You know, not living in the present moment because it's boring. And facing problems head on, looking at our body, looking at the four foundations, Gaia, body, sensations. Is it pleasant, unpleasant, or is it neutral? You know. So Theravada is described as your own psychologist. Did you know that? It's very psychological. It's very detail oriented. Very methodology oriented, which is really cool. So like those who like art go in the Vajrayana tradition. They draw like the, you know, the wheel and, right? You guys notice that? The Vajrayana, the Tibetan tradition, they draw a lot of Buddhist art and, you know. So in Theravada, those who like psychology like to think deeply, reflect, understand why, understand how. That's what these meditations aim to do. Especially Vipassana, insight meditation, insight about yourself, insight about the world, the phenomenon of what's unfolding. We get all things all twisted up every day and all sorts of things. Our mind plays so much tricks on us. The mind is a very violent thing, very violent. And these are the tools and methods that is designed for you to combat that within yourself. The Buddha says you can win 1,000 battles 1,000 times, either in real life or on PS5. Yeah. But those who conquer the battle within yourself, within your own mind, is the noblest victor of all. The noblest victor of all. And so, yeah, I expected that report, that honest report from you, which that, whoa, what's going on in there, right? So who here is afraid of death? Raise your hand. There you are. You cannot tell me if I put you on life support right now, you wouldn't freak out, right? So Gaia, the first foundation of mindfulness in Vipassana meditation, especially in the Tibetan tradition, they're so mindful of their body that they know their impending deaths, which is really cool because I mean you're afraid of it, right? How cool is it to actually know when it's actually coming? Ajahn Mun, it's gotta be Ajahn Mun, not Ajahn. Yeah, Ajahn Mun. Before he passed away, the day that he passed away, he told his disciples that he had malaria. And he said to his disciple, he says, come on, I want to go see the Buddha one last time. Give me my Sangati, which is what Bante's got on the right shoulder. His Sangati, or that's the we wear those mostly for ceremonies. Traditionally, we're supposed to have it on us all the time wherever we go. It's the third piece out of the whole uniform. And he said, It's like these monks who were around him at the time of his death, of his impending death and subsequent death, it was like the best. It was like the cherry on top of that, of the cake, you name it. The day he passed away, because he knew he was going, and he timed it. How awesome to time your own death, right? So grab my Kasangati, gets on the boat, and they go over there into the forest. He goes to the Buddha in a prostration, mindful prostration. 1, 2, of course, a lot slower. And on his last bow to the Buddha, he didn't get up. Did not rise from that last prostration. His students were like, looked at each other, they're like, uh-oh. And one of them put their hand right underneath his nostrils to see if he was breathing. He achieved full enlightenment in that moment. So, it's really cool. Vipassana is really cool. You're so in tune with your mind and body, that you're so aware of everything that later in life, you just know when these things come. Something's wrong with your body, or what your mind is telling you. When anger arises, what changes? Your breathing changes, right? You ever seen an impending angry person? You've seen this before, right? Or you yourself have experienced it, right? The trembling of the hands, the veins are trying to pop out their necks. You're like, okay. And so I'm very grateful that Bhante went there with you guys with Vipassana, because I don't teach Vipassana until I believe that my student is ready and they can demonstrate that they can sit with the breath alone, and they have to report back to me accurately. I give a lot of tests. And so I'm like, you guys are really smart students, so usually intelligent people understands the concept and instructions and can practice quickly. So with his presence today, and that he's been teaching Vipassana for a good minute, I just wanted, as an experiment, I just wanted to see how you guys experience it. And of course, revisit this again. And do reach out to Bhante Varapanyo, because he has more time than I do, as I'm still stuck with this book. And we'll later teach meditation to our Cambodian couple, to their kids, all 4 of them. But you see, we watch movies and we see superheroes and stuff like that, Jedis, right? And we get a kick out of Yoda, how wise he is, right? But this right here is very real in life, to conquer your mind, to see deeply within. And so once you've done all this homework and all the difficultness passes by, it'll be a piece of cake. When you see an experienced teacher, and you feel the warmth, the happiness, the clarity. Hopefully you guys experience that, or down the road you will. When you're with certain teachers, you're just like, wow, you're so calm all the time. You're so serene, calm, collective. And when you yourself see that and experience that for yourself, you're like, well, this is what it's all about. I've done my work and now I reap the fruits. I get to reap all the benefits of all this time sitting in silence, the hundreds of hours. 19 years of meditation right here. 19. I believed in it. I just had unshakable faith and confidence that one day it would pay off. At age 14, after receiving the first traffic ticket, or maybe not first, but a couple, enough for the judge to say, go do community service. And I went to the abbot and I said, look, I got this thing, I gotta do this. And the first time I heard the chants, got hooked. And when I saw the monks, they didn't even face us. They faced the Buddha. We just saw behind them. Venerable Buffon, Bud. Oh. That's all he repeated. He never taught me the analyzing the temperature, all the cool stuff I'm teaching you now. And I knew if I stuck with it one day I have to be like them. One day it's got to be just like them. They're so calm. So I hope that you guys are and will be inspired by that. The calmness, the stillness, the true nature of reality, and cultivate yourself. And this is how you honor your teacher. We don't want any money, we don't want any this, and we don't want any that. We just want you to come back and say, I've changed for the better. What you taught me, it was priceless. And now I'm teaching my mom this, my dad this, my children and kids this. And we get the most joy out of it. The most joy. And yeah, when I walked in and I had to grab my water, and I said, Ash, just keep up the good work. It was a very emotional scene for me to sit there and see him guide you. It's always when I see young people sit and they meditate, because I realize that we're helping you change in some way, if not altogether, just a little bit. And I know that it starts within, just one by one by one. I know that I can't change all, but when I see that, the willingness to sit, the willingness to listen, right, I had to compose myself. I've shed tears before online, publicly. I've shed tears because of the amount of suffering that I see people do to themselves and to other people. So to see change in progress, Lito, right? To go on this path. We call it in Vietnamese, Đi Tu. And Tu means amendment. Tu means to change. An active process to change. And likewise, ask yourself how many people in your life you wish they change. You're like, oh my goodness. I just wish that you change one day. Right? Or exes. People who hurt us. People you see on the news or whatever. You're just like, gosh, I wish you changed one day. But right here, this is where it starts. And you get to experience it. It's not a pill. It's meditation. So this trip later today to see the dolphins will be quite of a celebration. I want you all to be very proud of yourself, right? That you took the time, energy, effort to come for yourself, right? And I mix it up. I work and then work hard, play hard, right? Just don't play too hard. You work hard here, coming here. You work hard in listening and taking words in. Sometimes the words are a little bit difficult to swallow. I don't sugarcoat things. It's no point to be wasting your time and my time. Death is impending, like Bhante said. Death is imminent. So me beating around the bush and teaching you stuff you don't need to know, learn what needs not to be learned, practice what need not to be practiced, I'll be fooling myself and you. So when you stand on this boat and you see the ocean and see the dolphins and everything like that, just keep up the good work. Good, better, best. Never let it rest until your good is better and better is best. And don't give up, just keep going. That's what keeps life fun, interesting. The moment we get lazy is when we fall back into the same trap of our mind, complacency, boredom. Nothing good happens, there's boredom. start doing drugs and Netflix and all these things that waste time. We have 45 Bibles to read. See those 3 up there? Add just a few. In Christianity, they have 1 Bible. Jesus taught for 3 years. Buddha's been teaching for 45 years. The magnitude of things to read in Buddhism is a lot. Commentaries on top of commentaries and commentaries. All the lower books don't really matter. All the lower books are my old books in the day. But the top 3 is very important. The Nikayas. Middle length discourse, long length discourse, collective sayings of the Buddha. So when you are bored, when you are hurt, when you are in pain, back to the teaching. Flip the pages. When in doubt, go back to study the life of the Buddha and where he has been, the suffering he went through, and how he rose. I never get bored reading his words over and over and over again. It just gives so much strength. And we too forget, so we go back to it so we don't forget. Just because we wear robes don't mean we forget. I forgot my phones earlier. You know? So go back to it and study it and finish it. You move on with your life, right? Go have children, kids, or don't have children and kids. Go out and do great things, you know. But now you know where to go. It's not like you don't know where to go. It's like, I'm bored, I'm frustrated, I'm mad, I'm angry, I don't know what to do. You now have received instructions on how what to do. So these are just words of encouragement. So let us wrap up our 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock time. And let's go have some lunch, and then we will proceed on to Clearwater Beach. Right? And then after Clearwater Beach, we'll figure out what we do, what we do next. The spontaneousness of walking with us, the wandering ascetics.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.